Yes, everybody, yes! Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear. Oh, yeah! And then we discuss them over a glass of wine. In case you don't know, I'm Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by the Queen of Pajamas, Kat Halstead, the author, the pajama wearer. Let's be real.
That's the man who is in a onesie.
Yeah, I am in a onesie, so fucking what's it to you, girl? What's it to you? We're having a PJ party?
You're in a onesie. I'm in my flamingo pajamas. We're all good.
Fucking, we're having a PJ party here at a very special podcast. It's on a slumber party Thursday here, and we're gonna stay up all night, and we're gonna watch we're gonna watch a lot of classic television.
Yes.
And then get drunk and talk about it. So get ready, girls.
When was the last time I got drunk and talked about something? It's been a hot minute.
I don't know. Did you have a hot date one night and you actually drank and I don't know, you're on Twitter fucking DMing up a storm to me and Steven?
Yeah, and then I passed out.
Girl, you passed out?
Dude, that was the night I fell asleep.
I guess if it was a doctor, you probably wouldn't have fallen asleep.
At this rate, we're gonna just scare all the doctors away.
You would have stayed up all night for your exam. Yeah, girl. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I don't know why we're like so hung up on getting you together with a doctor. We should get you together with Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch.
What? Okay, dude. The Mooch is married, and he's not that cute. Like, I don't understand why you're obsessed with this.
I don't know. I feel like, you know what? He just had a son with his trophy wife, but she's not going to be a trophy any longer. And you don't have any kids. You don't have any dead weight holding you back. So there you go, girl. You and the Mooch. I don't know. You can go to Germany together and see the world. Talk about Euros.
Do not know where Patrick came up with this idea.
I think he's the money maker or the money maker. Let's sort of say. So he'll keep you comfortable. And, I don't know, he'll probably get tired of you and he'll divorce you, but you know what? You got that alimony, girl. You got that alimony pay coming your way. And I don't see any doctors lining up, so who got?
Yeah, because they keep getting scared away because they don't want to buy that Hawaii mansion, dude.
Maybe we'll get a duplex. We'll get a Hawaiian duplex. We'll ask for an addition to it later on, so that's the catch. That's the catch. All right. So anyway, we're still looking for a doctor out there. If you know of any single doctors who are just looking to throw money at Kat Halstead, the author, the doctor wantor, tweet us at Very Podcast, and I don't know, let the good times roll. That's all I gotta say, girl. That's all I gotta say.
This is how I know people at work don't listen to this, because I feel like they would totally drag me for this.
The doctor thing?
Yeah.
Why?
I that's just the feeling I get.
People are going to find out because it's going to be in the theme song. Oh, yeah. You know that's going to be a hot verse.
We have no idea what's going to be in the theme song, let's be real.
I don't know. There's going to be a line we're going to rhyme dreamy, McDreamy, and steamy. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? Who knows? All right. What are we doing tonight? What the fuck are we doing tonight for tonight's episode?
Tonight, we decided to drop in on a 70s classic.
Yeah.
And we are joining All in the Family.
Yeah, we're going to become a bunker for the night. Ooh, good, yeah.
Yes.
We're going to hang out with Archie, Edith, Meathead, what's his Mike? That's his name, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Louise Jefferson might even drop by. Who knows? Who knows? We never know.
We don't know.
I don't know. Or maybe even Rue McClanahan and her husband. They might be swingers. We don't know. Maybe they might stop by too.
We don't know.
All right, so we've been, I was going to say, I almost just said we've been talking about doing this for a while, but we really haven't. We just kind of we're like, oh, we should just do All in the Family. But
okay, so to be fair, it was one of those weird moments where we were both, on the same wavelength. When we were like, let's do something from the 70s. And we both at, almost the exact same time said All in the Family.
Yeah, because I think that was the defining television series of the 70s was All in the Family. Mm-hmm. Let's be real. Let's be real, girls.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't given the 70s that much love on the podcast. I feel like we kind of
We probably really haven't, because, which is funny because we started the podcast with a show from the 70s.
Yeah, and then we just kind of slipped away. We've dipped in a little bit here and there. We've done the Brady Bunch.
We did Mary Tyler Moore.
And Mary Tyler Moore, but I don't know. For the most part, we've kind of stepped away. We stepped back and We haven't really revisited the swinging 70s, but we're going back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're going back. It's time to go back. To quote Jack from Lost.
We have to go back.
And that's what we're about to do.
God, I love that show.
I glanced over a hot list of episodes of All in the Family to do, and the one that caught my eye was The Bunkers and the Swingers. Yeah, so
Yes.
this is the one where Edith Bunker accidentally answers like a personal for swinging, like for swingers.
Yeah.
And Rue McClanahan plays one of the swingers. I almost said singers. And her and her husband come over to fuck Edith and Archie, and shenanigans ensue. So we'll get into that in a hot minute. It's great. It's a great time. I think it's a season 3 episode, right?
I believe it's season 3, yeah. Season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, I think it's season 3. I don't know. Don't quote me. But I do know the day it aired. Do you want to know the date it aired?
Yes, please tell me the date it aired.
All right, this was just before Halloween, girl. Right before Halloween. So talk about scaring up a storm. October 28th, 1972, a Saturday. Yeah, All in the Family was a Saturday staple. Who knew?
Back when they actually had decent TV on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night was like a hopping night. And all right, this is a wild night of television. I know I say this every week, but tonight, girl, tonight.
Every time he's like, it's a wild night of television. I'm like, oh God.
This is this picture. It's 1972. We're not born yet. We're just, I don't know. My dad's probably just entered puberty, so I'm just becoming a little lump in his Levi's. His balls just dropped, and
oh my God.
I don't know. He's geared up to create me. But 9 years later.
Oh my God.
You want to start off with ABC, the alphabet?
Yeah, it was on ABC.
All right. Oh, I have to preface too. I couldn't find any NBC data, so we just get ABC and CBS tonight.
Okay.
But anyway, things kick off on ABC with at 8 p.m. with Alias Smith and Jones. Yeah, do you know this?
No.
All right, this was a Western. It features outlaws Hannibal Hayes and Kid Curry. They're trying to go straight, but there's a price for their freedom. Continually chased by bounty hunters and old enemies, they have to stay out of trouble for 1 year to get a promised pardon from the governor. So, ooga. They have to be good. They have to be good boys. And the governor will pardon them, and I don't know, maybe put them in the witness protection program. Who knows? If that's such a thing in the old West.
Who knows? Who knows?
So that's Wild Adventures with Alias Smith and Jones. I'm guessing they had to change their name to Smith and Jones instead of Hayes and Curry. That's my guess.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for it?
Probably. Those are probably exactly their alias. Smith,
right.
Jones. Who's Smith this week? Who's Jones this week?
Do you think they ever mixed it up? They're like, oh, am I Smith? I forget. Who am I? Who am I in this song? Who am I in this song?
Who am I?
Charade. Game of charades. You ready for ABC 9 o'clock? This is wild.
Yeah.
All right. Michael Douglas. Yeah, Michael Douglas on a television show in 1972. Have you ever heard of The Streets of San Francisco?
I've never heard of this.
For real? This was a gritty crime drama set in San Francisco, featured an older veteran cop and his younger, less experienced partner, starring Michael Douglas and Carl Malden? I don't know him, but I'm sure he's a great dude. I'm sure he's a great guy.
I've never heard of this.
I don't know. Sounds like it's I love myself a good gritty crime drama. So it's up my alley. Let's be real. Maybe we'll have to track it down. Maybe it's on YouTube. Maybe we can watch it this weekend. We'll have a Streets of San Francisco marathon. Maybe see a young Michael Douglas before he got cancer from Catherine Zeta-Jones' pussy.
I don't think it was from his wife's.
Oh.
I think it was from all his cheating.
For real?
Is what he said.
Oh. So Catherine Zeta-Jones has a pure pussy?
Yeah, let's say that.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Catherine Zeta-Jones has a pure pussy. Free of those Zeta waves. Yeah. All right. You ready for ABC 10 o'clock? This is wild. This is fucking wild.
Yeah, what's on at 10 o'clock?
All right. We know Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense, but do you know the 1972 The Sixth Sense?
No.
All right. This is wild. This sounds like The X-Files to me. Dr. Michael Rhodes, played by Gary Collins, a professor of parapsychology with ESP, and his assistant, Nancy Murphy, attempt to solve supernatural crimes and mysteries. Despite being canceled quickly, the show was edited down and squeezed into 30 minutes of shorter stories, and they intermingled it into Night Gallery reruns with Rod Serling.
Okay.
So, yeah, wild.
That's cool.
Yeah, wild. So, I don't know, maybe we'll have to track down Night Gallery and watch a episode of The Sixth Sense. I can't say The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I have like...
The Sixth sense.
I used to take a Cindy Brady lisp when I try to say that. The thick fat.
Okay, stop. You're getting ridiculous.
It's real. I can't say the thick sense. I can't do it. You're telling me I get ridiculous. Oh my god.
You do.
What are you gonna do with you, Kat Halstead?
I don't know.
What will the mooch do with you?
Nothing. That I don't know. I really don't know where this obsession with me and the mooch came from.
You know what? You only have to be with him for 11 days, and then he'll leave you, and he'll leave you his cash flow. And I don't know. We can buy ourselves a duplex in Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't think he can really last anywhere longer than 11 days. He couldn't even last in the Big Brother house.
Hold on. How long do you think he can last in the sack?
5 seconds.
Do you think he's a two-pump chump? No,
I think he's one and done.
He just sticks the tip in and you're like, oopsie.
Yep.
All right, well, you know what? I'm sorry to anyone who's ever been out there, who's ever had to been manhandled by the mooch. My condolences. Maybe next time you'll find a better businessman. As far as businessmen go, let's say we can't find you a doctor, we have to find you a businessman. Where would you go, Kat Halstead?
I don't know. I don't know.
Would you go for a lady? Maybe you can go to Susie Orman. Ooh, yeah. Let's look at that. Look at that pairing.
No.
You could learn how to save money with Susie.
No.
Who's that guy that was on MSNBC or CNBC or something? The Wall Street guy that would always tell you to buy or sell.
Oh, I don't remember, but I know who you're talking about. He got really hyped up and.
We need something like that in your world. All right. You ready for CBS? You ready to get over to CBS?
Yeah, what's on CBS? Save me, please.
All right. Believe it or not, this show is on at 8 o'clock. All in the Family. What?
Okay.
The kids were still up.
Yeah, well, okay. Remember, in My Girl, Veda's sitting there on the floor watching All in the Family with her dad.
That is true, but Mr. Sultanfuss wasn't the best dad, let's be real.
Oh, come on. Mr. Sultanfuss was pretty awesome, considering everything.
I mean, he was an awesome dude, but he wasn't the best dad, let's be real.
Come on, he was a widower. He didn't running a mortuary. He was doing the best he could.
I mean, things got better on when what's her name rolled around? What was the name of his new wife?
Oh God, Jamie Lee Curtis. Crap, what was it?
Well, we'll just say Jamie Lee Curtis Sultanfuss.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Sultanfuss. You heard it here first. Yeah, so Mr. Sultanfuss would let his daughter stay up to 8:30, watch All in the Family. Yeah, I don't know, watch. To
be fair, it was summer too.
Oh, so it was summer reruns.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for CBS 8:30?
Yeah.
All right, this is controversial. Speaking of controversy corner, have you ever heard of a show called Bridget Loves Bernie?
No, what the hell?
So this starred Meredith Baxter and David Burney.
Okay.
And it was an American sitcom created by Bernard Slade. It depicted an interfaith marriage between a Catholic woman and a Jewish man. And it was loosely based on a 1920s Broadway play and a 1940s radio show called Abby's Irish Rose.
Okay.
Despite having ridiculously high ratings, the show was canceled because it was protested because of this interfaith marriage. People all over America, all over the globe, they just couldn't handle the idea of a Catholic woman and a Jewish man together laying in the same bed. I don't know, just wild times. So, I don't know. What's your hot take on that?
Dude, people still freak out about that. Let's be real.
Meredith Baxter said they used to get bomb threats, on the set of the show.
Damn.
All right, so some threatening phone calls made to the home of producer Ralph Riskin resulted in the arrest of Robert S. Mannon, who was described as a member of the Jewish Defense League. And I guess he was later brought up on murder charges, not related to the threats, but I guess he would just show up at the producer's house and try to force them to change the show. So this is fucking wild. Wild times.
Wow. Crazy.
I guess I can see why CBS was maybe we need to pull the plug on this one.
It was a good try.
The Tiffany Network, we hold up our Tiffany values. We can't allow this controversy on our network.
Yeah.
You ready for 9 o'clock?
We gotta save the controversy for the 2010s.
And shit my dad says or something, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You ready for CBS 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Our favorite gal pal, Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
She's thrown her hat in Minneapolis, living with Rhoda, and I don't know, getting into wild adventures, and I don't know, just trying to break that glass ceiling. Yeah, look at you go, girl.
You're gonna make it after all.
And I think you're going to like this next show. This next show that's on CBS on 9:30.
Okay.
Our boy toy, Bob Newhart in the Bob Newhart Show. Yeah.
Woo!
This is where he was.
This is a great night on CBS, except for like that one show we never heard of.
Yeah, but you know what? Meredith Baxter? I probably would have fucking watched the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, let's watch Meredith Baxter and David Burney. Let's watch them get together. And then after that, we'll stay up all night with the Hartleys. We'll watch the Hartleys, I don't know, psychoanalyze some wacky people. I don't know, maybe talk about like Fear of Flying or something. I'm just trying to think of like all the Bob Newhart shows I know. There's like 3 episodes I know.
Those are good episodes, though.
And then we're gonna end off the night. We're gonna end off the night with a little suspense. You ready? You ready for it?
Okay.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. CBS.
That was not what I was expecting.
No, I thought the show was like already done by this point.
I was expecting to be like McMillan and Wife.
Oh, I think McMillan and Wife is like later on, like late 70s, early 80s. But shout out to McMillan and Wife being part of the Cozy TV network. I just saw it on the other night. Let's be real. I got excited. I was gonna like text you and be like, "Hey,
okay,
McMillan and Wife is on right now on Cozy TV."
Too bad I don't get Cozy TV.
You know what? I'll Periscope Cozy TV, and we'll have like a night of McMillan and Wife.
The thing is, I know he would do this if he really wanted to, and that scares me.
You know I will. It's on late though, so that's early for you. So get ready. Maybe this weekend we'll have a McMillan and Wife marathon, or I don't know. You never know. Maybe you get an airdrop, a DVD drop from Amazon. Maybe a McMillan drop.
Like I'm just gonna come home and there's gonna be these random packages, and I'm gonna be like, I didn't order anything.
We don't have a Patreon, but if anyone wants to donate to us, we'll give you Kat Halstead's P.O. box, and we'll send her DVDs of McMillan and Wife.
Why is it always me?
Well, you can send me DVDs of McMillan and Wife. I'll gladly accept them, but I don't know. I wanted you to get gifts. I wanted you to get some nice hot gifts from our fans, from our Durant fans out there.
Yeah, okay.
No, you don't want any gifts? You don't want any hot gifts?
I'm just like wondering if you tried to set me up to get stalked or something.
Well, that's where we're going to use the P.O. box, so I don't know. If someone's going to stalk you, they're just going to be hanging out your P.O. box and waiting for you to show up.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can just send someone else, let's be real.
Yes.
So that's at night of television. As I said, I don't know which was on NBC, but it's probably something fun and sexy.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Who knows?
I don't know, maybe a Bionic Woman or something. The $6 Million Man. Who knows? Battlestar Galactica. I don't know. All right. You ready to go down to the Bronx? Did they live in the Bronx or was it Queens? I feel like it was Queens.
Queens.
We're ready to go to Queens, ready to drive down that street and look at all the houses that look the same. All the theme songs playing.
Yes, that theme song. Oh my god.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played. Songs that made the hit parade. All right, we won't do it. Saving our voices for the show. How does this episode begin, Kat Halstead, the author? How does it begin?
This episode starts with Edith at home. She's baking a pie that she found a recipe for in a magazine. It's called Cupid's Surprise.
Cupid's Delight. That was it. It was Cupid's Delight, not...
Oh, Cupid's Delight. Sorry. So, of course, when I heard that, I immediately Googled to see if there was a recipe. The only thing I got were, like, Jell-O recipes.
So, like, a Cupid's Delight, it's basically just, like, it's like a pie crust with, like, spiced apple,
peaches,
pineapple or something.
I'm pretty sure I made that once with Axton.
So Edith is like baking up a storm. In comes Gloria. She's, I don't know, her and Meathead are about to go to like the ballet or something. She's yelling at Meathead because Meathead's like still in his like daytime clothes, and she's like, "What are you doing, Meathead? What are you doing? You need to suit up. We're going to the ballet." And he's like, "All right." So he goes upstairs and gets dressed, and Gloria's all like, "Oh, like what are you doing? What are you doing, Mom? What are you doing?" And she's like explaining that she's making dessert because she's expecting company the next day. Who's coming over? And Edith's like, the Rempleys. Mm-hmm. And Gloria's like, oh, I don't think I know who the Rempleys are. And she's like, neither do I. She's like, I found them in this magazine. I responded to an ad. And I guess...
Oh my god.
I guess Edith was like on the subway or something is what she said?
Something like that. Oh my god. I can't even imagine, like... Poor Edith. She's so naive.
Yeah, she's just a dingbat. Good old Edith, the dingbat. So I guess she's on the subway, And I don't know, you know how sometimes people leave magazines or like newspapers on and, you know, you're bored, you just pick it up and
Yeah.
you probably get like 15 stops before you get home. So she's just, you know, reading the old Now Family magazine. She doesn't understand what it is, but she finds a personal section in the end, and there's like a swap section, and it says like, it's a couple. They're looking to do a swap for like fun times, and it's obviously implying that they're swingers. Edith doesn't pick up on these cues.
Well, because can we be real? Like, Edith probably doesn't even think that's like a thing.
Like, she's just trapped. She never leaves the house. She just lives in her world. She doesn't know anything that's going on outside her den. Makes dinner for Archie. Oh, Archie.
Yeah.
What do you want to eat tonight? And Archie just yells at her and tells her to stifle, so she doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
It's not like she like gets out there and goes like plays bridge with her gal pals, you know? Like her and Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she sees this ad. Gloria, like, understands what it is. Like, she gets it, and she's, like, trying to figure out, like, she doesn't know how to explain it to her mom. Meathead comes back in the room.
Yeah.
And she's trying to, like, convince Meathead to tell her mom. And he's like, I'm not doing it. He's like, fuck you. He's like, it's your mom. And she's like, but you know more about sex than I do. And he's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, he definitely implied that Gloria is the more adventurous one.
Yeah, I've kind of gathered that. I don't know. Like,
out of the two of them.
Not to put down Gloria, but I feel like she might, like, put a finger up a bum or two.
Something.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Swinging became a thing in the 70s. It became, like, in vogue. Is that my take? That's
Yeah, I believe so. It was like
the thing to do.
Something that became a thing to do if you were like, because remember on that 70s show, Donna's parents
Oh, yeah. They were swingers themselves.
got into it.
Yeah, look at them. Shout out to the Pinciatis. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what would have been great?
What?
If the Rempleys showed up on that 70s show, but, I mean, obviously they would have been, like, ancient by that point.
Oh my god.
Maybe if we ever get a time machine, maybe we can transport the Rempleys into the early 2000s just so they can swing by the Pinciati house. I'm guessing the stuck-up culture of the 50s and 60s and the 70s finally swung around, and people were starting to get a little more out there, and I don't know, maybe just wanted to spice up their night. And I'm not talking about a Cupid's delight.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something else. Yeah.
You're talking about something very different.
Something about a little more spicy. So I guess Gloria's like, all right, you need to call the Rempleys and like tell them not to come over. I'll tell you why later on, because like I gotta go to the ballet with Meathead.
She's got to go to the ballet. They spent $7 on these tickets.
That's right. And
$7 whole dollars.
Meathead was upset that he had to pay $7 for tickets. He's like,
yeah,
because she's like, we need to tell Mom like what's going on. He's like, no, we're gonna be late for the ballet, and I paid $7 for these tickets. Like I'm getting every penny's worth, and I'm like, whoa. So that'd be like the price of popcorn today. Let's be real.
Yeah, like seriously.
Like what? What, girl? What?
I'm like, you're upset about $7?
Gloria's like, you need to call Mr. and Mrs. Rempley and tell them like not to come. I'll tell you why tomorrow. And Edith is like, I don't know their phone number. Like I only like know their address. And we get a great line here from Meathead. He's like, I'll send him a telegram, which is great. They still had fucking telegrams in the 70s, which is wild to me.
Yes.
Have you ever sent a telegram?
No. I mean, I think they still existed, but, like, no one used them because by then, you and I were doing email. Who needs to freaking send a telegram when you can send off an email?
I guess a telegram, you go down to, like, your local Western Union office and give them a message, and they wire it, and then they show up at the house. Is that how it works?
Yeah, something like that.
Some guy shows up at the house with, I don't know, with, like, a little card. It's like a tweet, though. It has to be, like 170 characters or something, right? It's like gotta be short.
I don't know. How am I gonna know? I'm only like 2 months older than you, man.
I don't know. I feel like you've been on the earth longer than me. You might know this stuff.
Yeah, for 2 months.
Sorry. If anyone knows about telegrams, tweet us at Very Podcast and give us a lesson on how they're sent and how they're received and how many characters they can be.
I'm looking it up. Apparently there's some kind of like messaging service now called a telegram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's like everything that's coming up instead of like old school telegrams.
It'd be like a text message. Like, what are you talking about? There's a new telegram?
Yeah, like...
I guess everything comes back in vogue.
A telegram is a transmission of written messages by signal, wire, or broadcast. Telegram may also refer to music, because there's different songs, newspapers, and other uses. And the one I'm finding the most right now via Google is this, like, instant messaging service. Like, I'm not getting, like, actual details.
Well, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to Google to send a telegram. But if you want to send a telegram, send it to us at Very Podcast. Send us a tweet instead. How about drop us a tweet?
Tweet us at Very Podcast.
All right. Meathead and Gloria leave. They said they're gonna send a telegram to the Rumpleys, and that's when Archie comes home. He walks in the door. He had a hard day at work, and he's just like he's gotta take a poop. He's gonna go upstairs and read the newspaper. That's when there's a knock at the door. Oh yeah, guess who showed up? Take a wild guess, Kat Halstead.
The Rumpleys.
Yeah, the Rumpleys showed up, and Edith is like fucking bugging out. She's like, I thought you guys weren't supposed to come till tomorrow. And Mrs. Rumpley's like, yeah, I sent the letter yesterday, meaning today. So, tomorrow is today. And Edith is like confused. Like, she doesn't understand. Like, she's like, wait. So are you saying that? Because that's how fucking mail works. You don't get mail right away, girl. You don't get mail right away.
So I would have put a date on the letter. We will be there on such and such date. Not, we're coming tomorrow,
And you know what? I would have maybe included my phone number just so you could have finalized the time. Because I don't know, how do the Rempleys know the bunker's schedule? Maybe they had went to play bingo that night.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were going to go with Gloria and Meathead to the ballet. We don't know.
They don't know.
Automatic fucking thumbs down for the Rempleys right there. And can we talk about Mrs. Rempley played by Rue McClanahan, who looks older than she did on the Golden Girls?
I don't know if it's just the way All in the Family was filmed
70s
or what, but she definitely looked older there than she did on the Golden Girls, and it freaked me out.
All right, so I looked into the way that All in the Family was filmed. So Norman Lear, the producer, as you know, he adapted the show from a British sitcom called Till Death Do Us Part. And it was pretty much the same thing. It was about a bigoted patriarch, a dim-witted wife, and just progressive children who were just anti the establishment that has been established by Archie and friends. And that show, I guess, it was originally black and white because it was on in the 60s in England. And so Norman Lear wanted to do All in the Family in black and white, but CBS was like, oh, no way. No fucking way. They were no way we're putting a black and white TV show on our air in 1971 or whatever fucking year it was. He decided to give the show a muted look. He wanted to mute the colors. He described it as a sepia tone, when you're looking through an old photo album, where the pictures are faded a little bit. So he wanted that kind of look, which I think he succeeded at, I would say. Because even when I was little, when I would come across the show occasionally when I was a child, I always thought the show looked funny.
Yes, definitely.
It looked really old. It looks wildly dated compared to other shows from the 70s.
That is true. It definitely has that dated look.
And I always thought everyone had greasy foreheads. I don't know. What was your take on that?
I didn't think about that. But yeah. That could just be them sweating from the hot lights, though.
I think it's I think it's the sweat from the hot lights, but I think it's just the way they muted the colors. The sweat stands out more.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I always noted, when I was a little kid. I was always wow, it must have been really hot in the bunker house because they're always sweaty.
Yeah.
And they look uncomfortable too, the way they dress. I don't know. Is that?
No, I thought they always looked uncomfortable. There's always just even with Gloria and Meathead, they dress in the most casual clothes. And they still look uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's wild. Especially when they show Meathead in a suit.
I
was like, wow, he looks like he does not want to be in a suit at all. Why is this guy in a suit?
Yeah.
Meathead's supposed to be a college student? What?
I know, right? He looks so old, doesn't he?
He could be my dad, today. I was like, whoa, Rob Reiner, what the fuck happened to you during puberty? Oh my goodness.
It's that thing where people looked older when they were younger back then.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the age of the bunker, Archie and Edith, and I'm Archie's probably only in his 40s, mid 40s at the latest.
Yeah.
At the earliest.
Pretty much, I think so, yeah.
But he looks like he could be a 60-year-old man.
I think that's why it always weirded me out to see Carol O'Connor on other shows. Because he looks so old during All in the Family, but then you see him on The Heat of the Night or Mad About You or whatever in the 90s, and it's dude, wait.
He kind of looked the same, a little bit. Just a little bit older. When he was on Party of Five, as the granddad, I just that's the last thing I remember seeing him on. I was like, whoa. I was like,
yeah.
Did he step into a time machine and come to the future? What? What, girl? What? Archie Bunker? You mean you're not 98 years old by this time? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Archie comes home. He goes upstairs to like poop, and that's when the Rempleys show up. Edith is like, she knows, like Gloria told her that they shouldn't have they shouldn't have come over. There's a reason why, but she's gonna tell them later. But she doesn't really understand why. She just knows she needs to get them out of the house. Right off the bat, they're kind of scandalous. They're kind of like close and chummy with Edith, and they're all eager to meet Archie.
Yeah.
That's when we hear the toilet flush upstairs, and Archie comes down. And the Rempleys have presents for them, too. They got presents.
Yeah, like, okay, these random house people show up, they're creepy. Why did Archie let them stay in the house as long as he did? Oh my god.
Yeah, I feel like when, like, any of the Jeffersons show up, or, like, anybody, like, Cousin Bod comes by, like, he doesn't want to fucking, like, see them. He's like, get the fuck out of my house. But we have the Rempleys show up, and he's like, oh, like, you brought me a box of cigars, and you brought Edith Chanel No. 5?
Yeah. What? Who are these people? Who are you weird people? How do you know my wife? Like, none of this gets brought up.
Archie's an outspoken dude. Like, he never really, like, questions it, which is odd, which is out of character.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if Meathead had his, like, little, like, Democrat friends come over, fucking Archie would be giving them all, like, the third degree, but I don't know. Maybe he was just so flabbergasted by everything. Like, the cigars, who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
Because we know Archie loves himself a good cigar.
Maybe because he just didn't know what was going on. He didn't expect this. He wasn't prepared. So he's like, oh, I gotta be polite for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe, alright. He hadn't eaten dinner yet. He just got home from work. He's like post-poop, so he's still a little like, I don't know, I guess in that like defense mode, I guess, maybe? Where he's just, alright, what's going on here? Let me analyze the situation. Let me see what's going on, girl. What's going on, Edith?
Yeah.
For some reason, Mr. Rempley is, like, admiring the master chair, the chair that Archie always sits in. And he's like, this must be your chair. This looks like the master chair. And Archie's like, yeah, it's the master chair. What do you know? What do you know? So Archie sits in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Rempley sits right next to Archie. And there's, like, that open spot on the couch. And Archie's like, what are you doing? You sit down next to Mr. Rempley on the couch. And I think the signal's across. So, like, the Rempleys are like, oh, this is, like, how it starts. This is, like, how we're gonna get wild. Sitting next to Edith on the couch. Ooga.
Yeah.
The Rempleys start talking about their former glories. I guess they won some, like, foxtrot competition.
Something ridiculous like that, yeah. Like, I don't know. These are weird people. Edith
is like, oh, I think you should show us how you guys foxtrotted. So, the Rempleys start foxtrotting with each other. Archie and Edith start dancing. And that's when Mr. Rumpley's like, all right, now let's switch partners. Let's switch dancing partners. And, like, shortly thereafter that's when Louise Jefferson knocks on the door. Louise shows up, and she's come over to borrow, like, a casserole dish or something. But she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I, like, interrupted your party. And he's like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. It's fine. I'll take you into the other room.
Mm-hmm.
And Louise is like, how do you know these people? Like, I've never seen these people before. And she's like, oh, it's the Rempleys. They're like some fine foxtrot dancers. They want a trophy.
Like,
Edith shows Louise the ad, like the magazine. Oh, I found them in a magazine.
Yeah.
Up to this point, like everyone has read the magazine. Meathead, Gloria, Louise now, and they all they read the first sentence aloud, and they just stop right off the bat. Their eyes bulge out of their foreheads. It's fucking great. Like the facial expressions of this episode are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That's when Louise is like, you need to get these people out of your house. And Edith is like, why? And she's like, they're swingers. And she's like, yeah, I know. They won the Foxtrot trophy. And she's like, not that kind of swinging. And she's like trying to casually explain swinging to Edith. The second it hits fucking Edith, like the second she gets it, like her facial expression is fucking dynamite.
Swingers.
It's fucking great. I fucking love it. And she's like, she runs out of the kitchen. She's chasing after Louise because Louise is like, gotta go. I got my casserole dish. And Edith's like, no, you gotta stay. And
yeah,
that's when things really start heating up in the living room.
Oh my god. Like, okay, can we just stop for a second and just imagine Louise going next door and telling George Jefferson what is happening in the Bunker household?
That's probably why they left. That's probably why they left town. Let's be real. They fucking got the hell out of fucking Queens. They got off of Hauser Street.
They're like, that's it. We're moving on up.
Yeah, let's. Oh, we won the lottery. What? How do they get rich? I forget.
He owned a bunch of what are they called? Dry cleaners.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. And I know they did well.
So he was able to afford a nicer place, and they moved up to a penthouse, and they had a housekeeper.
Yeah, so they fucking skipped town.
And they had their own wacky neighbors.
I would love to watch the first episode of The Jeffersons. And they're like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood, Mr. and Mrs. Jefferson. Why'd you leave? They were like, our previous neighbors were swingers. We had to get the fuck out of there. We had to get out of Queens.
We had to get out of there with this white nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The Repleys plot begins to unfold now. Now it's like, now they're really starting to, like, lay it in heavy. Archie's, like, slowly putting the pieces together. And he's like, wait, you want me to do what with your wife?
Like, he can tell something's not quite right, but he can't exactly pinpoint it.
Mr. Rempley flat out comes out and says, like, why he's there. They're there to exchange. Oh, wait, no, this is what happens. All right, this is what happens. Mr. Rempley pulls out a camera, and he takes a picture of Archie, Edith, and Mrs. Rempley.
Yes.
And he's like, all right, this is our before picture. And Archie's like, our before picture? What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, come here, Archie. He's like, I want to show you something.
Yeah.
So he has, like, you know those little tiny, like, picture viewer things that they had back in the day?
Yeah.
So, like, you would just pull out, like, the film, like, the little film reel, and you put it in this little, like, it was kind of like a Viewmaster.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it, is like a Viewmaster.
Yeah, so he's like, Archie, come here for a second. I want to show you this hot picture. And he's like, all right, I'll come over. He's like, this is me, and, this is just me, like, earlier in the week. And Archie looks in the viewfinder thing, and he's like, he gets a shocking look on his face, and he pulls Mr. Rempley aside. He's like, Mr. Rempley, he's like, you gotta hide this picture. He's like, this is one of your stag pics. He's like, you don't want Mrs. Rempley to find out. And he's like, oh, that was Mrs. Rempley in the picture. That was me and my buddy and Mrs. Rempley. And he was like, what? He's like, yeah. And he's like, hey,
yeah.
He's like, hey, Edith, check out this picture of me. And Edith is about to, like, peep her eyes into the Viewmaster thing. And Archie's like, grab it out. He's like, oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't.
Archie's all like, hell no.
Yeah, and that's when Archie finally, like, it hits him. He finally realizes it, and he's like, you sex typos, creepos, and sexos need to get the fuck out of my house. Slaps him out the door, and Edith is all, like, shook. Edith is like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, Archie.
They're both really shook.
Yeah, and he's like, and you?
Well, and, like, they're like, the thing is, the Rumpleys do try to be like, oh, our marriage is so much better because of this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I guess they hit a rough patch. You know what? This is my hot take. I'm guessing they're probably the same age as the Bunkers, and they probably had their own, like, brood of children.
Yeah.
And the children probably got old. They left the house. And that empty nest syndrome hit, and they realized, like, we don't have anything in common. We don't really like each other that much.
Yeah.
We only, like, stay together for the kids.
Divorce isn't really an option still.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They don't want their neighbors talking that they got divorced. I don't know. Maybe they won't know what's gonna happen. So I don't know. I'm sure, like, one of them was like, let's try swinging. Let's see how that goes. And
yeah,
I don't know. It worked for them. Like, I'm not gonna shame them for it. Let's be real. Some people are swingers.
Yes, some are. Some enjoy that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. As long as
others do not.
As long as it satisfied their needs, a little bit out of that box and a little bit out of the other box, and needs are satisfied. Ooga. So it saved their marriage. But oh no, Archie wasn't having it. He was satisfied with Edith. Mm-hmm. He's satisfied with that Edith puss.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Archie kicks him out. And Edith is shook. She's like, oh my God, Archie, I'm so sorry. And he's like, and you're not allowed to read magazines no more.
Yeah.
He's like, no more magazines. That's it. No more, Edith. And she just...
I mean, I kind of don't blame him. No more personal ads, Edith.
Yeah. No more Now Family Magazine. Like earlier in the episode, there's a part where, like, Meathead's reading the articles, and he's like, what kind of magazine is this? He's like, What kind of sheets satisfy your lover? Like, how did Edith not pick up on any of this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, do you think she just went, like, right to the back and found the recipe and was like, ooh?
Maybe that's what, like, it was left open on.
Yeah, like, she didn't look like, maybe she just saw the word Now Family because that was what it was called.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, it's a family, or it's like Family Circle.
Yeah, you know what it kind of sounds like to me? Like one of those magazines one of those cults would put out.
Oh.
To try and get people to join.
Like, Alice and Max cult?
The Family. There's actually a cult. There's actually a cult called The Family. And their techniques were to seduce people with sex.
But using, like, innocent ways to lure them in. It's like they would make these, like, creepy little magazines.
I think so, yeah, maybe.
Like the cover's like, the perfect recipe. And, you know, Edith starts reading the articles, and she's like, you know what? Maybe I need to change my sheets. Maybe these Egyptian cotton aren't as sexy as these silk sheets. Maybe I need silk sheets. And then, you know, it's these little small changes that people are making. And then next thing you know, Edith is a full-fledged member of the sex cult. And now she's like fucking like pulling Archie into it. And Archie doesn't fucking know what to do. Archie doesn't fucking know shit from Shinola sometimes, let's be real. He's not the brightest bulb either.
You know, Archie's just one of those guys trying to make it through each day.
He's set in his ways. So we get this fun little like closing scene where I guess it's like later on in the day, and Archie and Edith are sitting down, and Edith is packing up the Chanel number 5, and she's like, it's such a shame that I'm gonna have to mail this back to the Rempleys. And she's like, what are you gonna do? And Archie pulls one of the cigars out of the box, and she's like, you mean you're not gonna send those cigars back to the Rempleys? He's like, no, I'm gonna boin them. Meaning he was going to fucking smoke him. So shout out to Archie, I guess. Still taking advantage of the gift. I mean, you might as well at that point, right? You've gone through the fucking horror.
Yeah, I mean, these people, like, came over to try and sleep with you and your wife. You can still have the cigars, even after you kick them out.
Yeah, and Edith can smell nice. She can smell like Chanel's highest number.
Yes.
It's their highest number, Archie! It's their highest number!
Highest number!
What a weird episode we picked, let's be real.
It was a weird episode, but I kind of love it.
It was very enjoyable. Alright, you want to play a game?
No.
You ready?
No.
You're ready for a hot game? You ready for a Fuck, Marry, Kill All in the Family edition?
I knew this was coming, and I don't want to do it.
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it. Alright.
Fuck you.
Fuck, Marry, Kill. Archie Bunker, Meathead, or Mr. Rempley.
Ew.
Ew.
Can I throw them all off a cliff?
I mean, you can, but you gotta fuck one and marry one before you do.
No.
Alright.
Well, who's gonna give me the biggest insurance claim?
You know what? I feel like Archie has a good pension.
Yeah.
So I guess he's the one you want to marry. I guess if you gotta fuck somebody, you might as well have it be Mr. Rempley, because he knows his way around a lady, let's be real. And kill Meathead? And kill Meathead, I guess?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sorry, Rob Reiner.
Yeah. We'll like you eventually someday.
Well, we'll talk when it comes to When Harry Met Sally.
Do you have any hot takes on All in the Family? Do you have any classic memories? Do you ever stay up late watching it on Nickelodeon or something?
It was a show I watched kind of like, it was always on when I was a kid. It was one of those shows that it was on syndication, and it was one that was just like always on. It was like this, MASH, Three's Company, One Day at a Time. We're kind of like the evening syndication lineup.
Like the late night ones?
No, not late night. Like, between 5 and 7.
Really? I don't know. I always felt like these are the ones that came on like much later at night for me. I don't know. That's how I remember it.
No, not where I was growing up.
I just remember like after the primetime run ended, then these shows, like the more scandalous shows came on.
No, like until like I was a little older, and then they kind of got sent to the daytime slots as like newer 80s stuff took over those spots.
I just kind of remember watching this and never like understanding it. I just remember like everything went over my head. I would hear the audience laugh and like applause stuff, and I just never knew why. I never knew what they were laughing at.
Yeah, like I feel like whatever I did laugh at as a kid, I didn't really understand.
You just kind of laughed because like someone in the room, like maybe your dad laughed or something?
Yeah, like probably my grandfather or something, like...
Chuckling.
Because it's one of those shows like I watched a lot, but then I'm like, when I got older, like with MASH.
MASH was a show that I never understood MASH. I never knew if it was supposed to be a comedy or a drama. Like, it confused the fuck out of me growing up. And, like, I still don't even understand to this day. Like, I'm like, is it a comedy? Like, what is MASH? What is it?
I think in today's terminology, we would call it a dramedy.
But in 1972 America, I don't know what the fuck.
They called it a comedy.
Well, because it was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like in Shakespeare, they call it a comedy because no one dies.
They call it a comedy because people get married at the end.
Yeah. And then if they die, then it's a tragedy.
Exactly.
A tragedy. Yeah.
Shakespeare's plays either end with death or marriage. The tragedies end in death, and the comedies end in marriage.
There's no in between.
There literally is no in between.
Speaking of All in the Family, it's spun off a number of shows. Many shows. We got Maude out of this. We got Archie Bunker's Place. We got The Jeffersons. Is One Day at a Time part of this universe? It's the same creator, though, right?
No, it's also a Norman Lear show, but it's not part of this universe.
I always thought it might have been.
It's not like a spin-off. But also there was Gloria had her own show for like a season, because she divorced Meathead, and they did like her as a single woman for a year, and then it just didn't work.
They wove her back in,
or something like that. Yeah. So
the only shows I've ever seen out of this like world is All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and I've seen a little bit of Maude. I'm gonna lie, I don't know that much about Maude.
You know what? Can we be real? Maude has not really run very often through our lifetime of conscious TV watching.
I think because it was it's kind of like, all right, so last week we did Design and Women, and we talked about how that didn't really run through, because I think it was like an issue, like a very specific issues of the time type show that, like, I know like All in the Family was kind of like issues of the times, but I feel like it was more of like a universal type show. And I don't know, Maude just...
Like, you can put on an episode of All in the Family right now, and it is
relevant,
very similar to life now.
Like similar things, but like I don't know, like I couldn't even tell you, like I don't know, like I couldn't even tell you like something that happened on Maude. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't.
Who knows? Like, can you name a Maude episode? Like, you know how like you think of like All in the Family, you think of this episode, you think of, I don't know, like Edith gets raped. You think of the Jeffersons move next door. Sammy Davis Jr. comes by and visits.
And gives Archie a kid. Like, yeah, like there's nothing from Maude that I feel is in our social consciousness as like with All in the Family or the Jeffersons.
Yeah, no, it's strange. It's a strange world. But one fun fact I wanted to point out, and this is actually going to lead us into next week's episode. The people who wrote this episode, They like absolutely loved this episode for some reason. They were fucking smitten by the idea of this episode. So a few years later, they went on to create the show that we're doing next week, and it was also a show that was inspired by a British series, just like All in the Family. However, when they were writing the show we're doing next week, they specifically remembered this episode of All in the Family, and they kind of based a lot of their plot lines like around the shenanigans of this week's All in the Family episode. Do you have any guesses? Do you have any wild guesses of what we're doing next week?
Okay, you're not going to believe it, but I actually know what we're doing next week, because I actually have my planner right here.
Oh, girl.
It is not across the room in my purse. It is literally in my hands right now, and I have it on our list.
You go, girl.
And I know that we're doing Three's Company next week.
I know, like, when you say the name of something that we're doing next week, I'm just very confused. So next week we're doing Three's Company.
I know it's really weird for me to actually have the list.
John Ritter, Suzanne Summers, Joyce DeWitt. Who else is on it?
Crap, I'm forgetting names.
Mr. Roper, whoever the fuck that plays.
The Ropers, yeah. Larry, you know.
We're going to do an episode in which, the season 2, episode 22, in which the gang, the Three's Company gang, thinks that the Ropers are growing weed in their backyard.
Oh, that's such a good episode.
So I guess Mr. Roper is like weeding or something, and they find like a suspicious looking plant. Is that the premise?
Like, Mrs. Roper's taking a flower arranging course, and she's entering a contest, and like she and like Chrissy find something really kind of like interesting in the yard, and she decides to add it, and then Janet sees what the plant is, and Janet's like, oh my god, it's marijuana. But it's not marijuana.
Yeah, it's something. It's just like a weed, like a regular weed.
Yeah, like it's just like something that looks like marijuana.
So fun times next week. Get ready. Get ready to laugh. I don't know, maybe John Ritter will do a pratfall. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
Probably.
It's going to be great. So, so join us, definitely. And where can you follow our adventures? Kat Halstead, the author. Where can you follow us?
You can find us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us at A Very Special Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram. You can find us on Google, Google, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, just looking up A Very Special Podcast. VerySpecialPodcast.com and SaltyRockMedia.com.
Yeah, all of the above, girl. All of the above. And as always...
I think I got it all.
You got it all.
Bye!
Watch the seats on the subway for magazines.
I don't know what you're doing, man.
Stifle. Kat Halstead, the author. Stifle.